Got a couple people live with us on YouTube. Click the link. Click the link that's pinned to the top of the comment section so you can come in and join the panel and talk to us on the screen instead of just in the chat. If you, again, are watching us on the rerun, the link will be in the description, pinned comment section. Just download the app. It's free. And then next Sunday, which we will be doing these 7 o'clock Sundays until the season starts, I will not be popping up on a Tuesday or a Wednesday or a Monday. We strictly Sunday. Basketball season's over. We'll talk about that. We were talking behind the scenes about it. But listen, hit the like button on the YouTube side. Come from the YouTube side to the JJAANN side, the cool people side. I'm just kidding. But I do want to hear from multiple people. Let's start with the people on the panel. How y'all feeling about this Eagles team? Just hearing a little news. We're going to start with some of the rumors that Leonard Floyd, the Eagles been checking in on him. And then we'll go into Charleston Rambo, play with the Oklahoma Sooners on CD Land's team, on Jalen Hurts' team. We'll start with Leonard Floyd. How possible do you feel that could be, Stu?
It's possible. I mean, I wanted how would he fit in the scheme? You know what I'm saying? Because I don't see him as a cover guy. So he would have to be basically that end of that guy comes down and run defense, run support or whatever. But you know what I'm saying, if that's mainly going to be his role, then you know what I'm saying, I'm not opposed to it, but at the same time, we still got to have one of those linebackers that can cover that can cover a tight end or a running back out of the backfield. So,
yeah, I hear you. That's another pass rushing linebacker. And again, Howie Roseman loves his pass rushers. But if you're asking me, now he's had about 29, 28 sacks in 3 seasons, nothing less than 9. He definitely wants to rush the passer, but I don't want him stepping in front of Nolan Smith, who I think can really just take this league by storm once the keys get given to him, whatever. But again, he has to fight for minutes, whether it's on the opposite side of Reddick or with Reddick. We'll figure that out. But, Coach, how you feel about Leonard Floyd as a player and with these Eagles defense possibly?
So I like him. He's good. He's older. You were talking about run defense versus rushing the passer. I can tell you in general what I've seen, and I've liked it from Howie, is a focus on more run defenders on defense this season. That's not to say there aren't some great pass rushers, and Jalen Carter can do everything. Nolan Smith is very capable of in run defense despite his smaller size. He's a great pass rusher. He has unreal bend. I'm sure you guys saw the training camp videos. Howie is the man. So, I trust Howie. I like Floyd. One thing I think that fans do sometimes, I try not to do it, like Dalvin Cook, for example. He's a good running back. He's explosive. I like Swift way better. I like Rashad Penny way better. So I try not to get attached to people that are talked about because they're well known, because they were really good for a few seasons, but they may not be, like you said, a great fit for the team. So I trust Howie, and I try not to get too emotionally invested in certain other players. I let them worry about that.
Hey, that's a great way to describe it. And who better than to lean on than one of the best general managers ever? I'm just kidding, but he's been on a roll. Kev DeGray, how you feel about Leonard Floyd?
I may have the most unpopular opinion when it comes to this, and might I add, I see people like they rave about Leonard. I know he's a great player. He's good. He's gonna have to come in on a cheap, on a cheap 1 year, maybe 1 year deal. He's gonna have to be extra cheap with his deal because he's right now he's bouncing from team to team. But as far as Leonard being with the Eagles, I can do without him. I can literally do without Leonard.
Right.
For the main reason, like Stu and everybody saying, like everybody knows that he's strictly gonna be a pass rusher. We have that. We have Barnett. Granted, he's a flag player. Now, if we want to get rid of Derek Barnett, I'm cool with it. Let him go play flags with the little league team. But if we're gonna either we get Leonard, get rid of Barnett, take that $2 million cap hit. If we don't get rid of Derek Barnett, I can do without him because again we got from Riddick to shoot, I
Smith,
just went
Sweat,
Smith, Sweat. We got the
still,
pass rusher.
still
We
got
literally
BG.
and we in BG and we can literally set up a 3-man race to the quarterback, a 3-team race to the quarterback. We can literally wear out the defense. I said this 2 weeks ago when I was on. We can wear out the defense. Just like that offensive line is not going to have the energy at the end of the game. They're not going to have the energy to deal with us. You know, it happened last year. They had no. Everybody is watching the blitz, waiting for the blitz, but we're just wearing out the offensive line, and now we got a coach that will blitz. Oh, we really don't need him. I could actually see him maybe getting maybe a linebacker, if anything, you know, to add to the bunch instead of. But I would rather keep that cap. To be honest, I would rather keep the cap. Keep the cap at 13 million. We look fresh for next year. Hell, you can give it to a signing bonus to somebody that deserves it. Something. And he's a genius. How is a genius with it? I trust him. If he gets him, okay, cool. He's an added bonus. But let's get rid of Derek Barnett, though. I'd rather that get pushed out the door and we actually use Leonard for what he's used for.
Yeah, I hear you. Again, there's many more months coming upon us. 100 and what? I said 19 yesterday, so that makes it 118 days. Hey, Dev 10, how you feel about Leonard Floyd?
I'm gonna keep it 100, man. You know, I'm with Kev on this one, man. You know, if we get him, we get him. I don't really care because we stacked over there, man. Edge on the edge side, whatever. Trying to see, man. Going back to his other teams, he made some good plays. You know, make some good stuff. I feel like we got him. He'll give you that turning point of the game type. That one time we put him in, he'll give you that sack. But now, other than that, man, shit, if we get him, we get him. I mean, you know, it is what it is.
Yeah,
Hey,
I kind of
question for
said.
you, Mike.
What?
Question
Go
for
ahead.
you. If we get Leonard, who's on the out for you? Somebody has to be on the out.
Yeah, somebody
Who's on the
got
out
to
for
be
you?
around.
Yeah, well, you got to understand that it's still a different position in regards to what are we playing more of, 3-4? How much will we be in the base? Are we going to be
Yeah.
multiple up front? Because you got Barnett, Sweat, and Brandon Graham as your traditional defensive end, hand on the ground. Then you would have Nolan Smith, Hassan Reddick, and Leonard Floyd as your pass rushing joker linebacker, who, again, they all don't really. Nolan Smith probably the best version of dropping back in coverage and doing what they need to do off ball linebacker. But you really want Hassan Reddick rushing the passer. You really want Leonard Floyd rushing the passer. I prefer Nolan Smith to rush the passer. So, you know, out of any of them, maybe he plays a little off ball because I think he's versatile enough to do that. But again, I said yesterday, I did my video. I talked about Jalen Hurts slinging a rock, dime piece to the Batmans and whatnot, and I talked about Leonard Floyd. To me, it's just good to know that there's rumors about Howie Roseman staying aggressive. And again, if I'm going to invest at the linebacker position, it's more of, you know, giving depth to Nakobe Dean and Nicholas Morrow rather the pass rushing joker / edge rusher, because I think we're pretty good there, barring what happens with Derek Barnett. But if he's your last man on the totem pole, I guess it ain't a problem there. I think the rotation, we got some inside guys who can play outside depending on what front is being shown. And so I'm still more curious to see which way we're leaning towards as our base. And we'll start to see that around training camp. So Leonard Floyd is like, yeah, if we got him, cool. But I said in my video that it's not someone that I would prioritize at this point right now because Nolan Smith, I don't want him losing no time to an older guy who has been productive. And we haven't seen Nolan Smith in the NFL quite yet, but I just know. When you know, you know. DLA Flow, you've been on mute for a minute. Let me know if you can hear us, if you're good.
Yeah, I'm good, man. I'm sorry about that. I'm having a little difficulty with the live.
Hey,
But
take your time. Let me know. Give me your thoughts on Floyd.
as far as Leonard Floyd, in my opinion, like my guy said, like it's literally a luxury at this point. It's not necessarily a need. If anything, I would look towards more to the Patrick Queen side of things, just because we have to just have that balance of having somebody keeping everything honest within that second level. Because the first level and third level we're good at. I don't feel like this really much issue. Even if you got like an issue with safety, you got too many mix and match pieces in the backfield where everything's is covered on that end, and you got too much of a rotation on the front end that you don't really need to add much more than what you have already. So that just seems like that's a luxury piece to get Floyd. It's not necessarily, but you know, if it happens, it happens, like my guy said. So that's how I feel about it.
Yeah, I think the whole panel has been pretty much on that same thing. It's not nothing we're clamoring for, but if you add to a strength, it's only going to strengthen the strength. Whether that guy plays a role like you think, Robert Quinn comes to the Eagles last year. Now there was some injuries, there was some non-performing, but at the end of the day, when he's not getting snaps because your defensive line is that stacked, it's just a good thing because on another team, he might be asked to play more, still being less productive, but that's all they got. So it's always good to see that. JoJo,
he did have 18 sacks though. With this,
oh yeah, the year before. So Robert Quinn, I thought it was a good investment. That was the one thing that didn't really come to fruition via Howie Roseman, as 500 would say, Howie Vision. But I can't. You're never going to be 100%. You shooting 95 at the table. I'm still going to keep betting on you. JoJo, how you feel about Leonard Floyd before we move on to that topic?
Nah, wasn't we going to get him like 2 or 3 years ago too when he was with the Rams?
Yeah.
That's when he went to the Rams. I think because he was a former Chicago Bear who eventually went to the Rams. He was with them during the Super Bowl. Again, he's had about 28 sacks in the last 3 years. But again, he's a pass rusher. He's going to be trying to go at that Nolan Smith and Hassan Reddick position.
Didn't he play with the Raiders too?
Huh?
Didn't he play with the Raiders too?
I'm not aware of it. I just know he was with the Rams and the Bears. He could have been.
Yeah, I think after the Rams, he went to the Raiders for like a year or so. They let him go or whatever. But I don't necessarily. I don't want him really. I'd rather have the dude from the Steelers, Mac or whatever his name is. The guy we're talking about getting. Yeah, I'd rather have him. I think Mike. I think Floyd is too soft for what we doing.
Yeah, listen, if there's one spot that we could upgrade on, it's still a traditional linebacker, a guy who can, fight for that middle, fight for the outside linebacker, fight for a spot to take, or at least fight for a spot that we just lost in the Kaiser White role, TJ Edward role. Yeah. These are guys who help stop the run, help cover linebackers, cover running backs at the backfield, who play deep in zone when asked to. Well, you're not asking Leonard Floyd to do that. That's why he got 9 sacks for the last 3 years. He's been predominantly a pass rusher, so I totally agree on that.
Miles Jack in coverage though.
Who?
I wouldn't trust Miles Jack in coverage though.
I mean, again, you get Miles Jack here. There's no 100% certainty he beats out Nicholas Morrow. But again, if you got Miles Jack and Nicholas Morrow going head to head in training camp, rather Nicholas Morrow and a special teamer that we have on the team right now. You know what I mean? So again, a guy you bring in May don't necessarily mean he's going to be there, right? We all thought Rashad Penny was a guy who, barring any injuries, which is not going to be like the easiest thing. Obviously, he's been struggling with that. Thought that, he could really compete for something, but at the same time, now the moves we make, he could be someone that ends up on the tail. Let him get nicked up in training camp, and maybe the Eagles pull the plug on that. So, training camp's going to be interesting. And when your roster is good as it is, there's going to be a lot more guys on the bubble. I think it's going to be harder for certain people to make a big splash or a big, stint in training camp for the simple fact that now everybody gets cut at the same time. So there's going to be, Roman eyes from guys like Howie Roseman and the Eagles organization to the other 31 teams that cut not just 8 players this day, then 10 players the next day, and then 20 players the next day. It's all, 35, 40 to get down to the 53-man roster on the same day. So guys who are fringe roster players for the Eagles could be let go, not because they didn't perform, but because somebody on another team is being let go, and we want them for a spot. You know what I mean? So it's going to be really interesting.
Hey, Mike, I heard you talking about Robert Quinn. So I thought the Eagles should have kept him because when we got him, he was hurt from day one when we got him. The Bears knew what they were doing. He was playing with the Bears, and because I drive trucks, I'm always in Chicago. I seem to watch the Bears a lot. they started using him way less to where he wasn't really even playing when we got him. And that's because of his back. He had a back problem. And they knew this going in. That's why we had to get clearance. And I think they cleared him, but he was still hurt. I think if we had him this year with Desai instead of Gannon, I think he would have been a big difference maker. I think that guy still got like 2 years left in his tank easy. I just think we got him and he was hurt. And then Gannon, Gannon don't know how to use a fruit cup to feed to a child. So we're talking about Gannon here. But the only thing I'm going to say, Mike, is I think we're going to get that guy from the Patriots. I've been talking to Philly 500. That safety, the one that the Patriots they're gonna cut him. They're not going to keep him. He's too much against the cap. You know what I'm talking about, right? Bayard or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Bayard.
I think Howie's gonna get him. I think he's young and he's aggressive, and Howie'll get him and re-sign him. That's who I think we're gonna get for that. As far as linebacker, we do need another one. At least one that's like a veteran, somebody that's been around. What about that guy from Baltimore? The one we've been trying to get for like 2 years. Ain't he a linebacker?
Yeah, he was in talks with like an extension talk, like with the team. Mm-hmm. So that, they were trying to shop him around, see what's going on. Play with.
Well, what about Patrick Queen? Didn't he just get drafted like 2 years ago?
Couple,
yeah. I don't.
He got denied his he got denied his 5th-year option.
Yeah.
But yes, look, in this early point of May, there's so many people who are going to be cut post June. There's the June 1st, June 1st cuts. So, there's a lot of players who their money's going to come into fruition. Either it's going to hurt them, it's going to make it, it's going to break it. And so there's going to be a lot of transactions around that time. And then, of course, training camp, the new rule of cutting them all at the same time, it should be interesting. But how does anybody on the panel, whoever wants to go first, about the young XFL wide receiver, Charleston Rambo? And again, it's nothing. He's going to come in and compete for I don't think he's really going to make any noise necessarily, but it's a Jalen Hurts guy. He played with both CeeDee Lamb and Jalen Hurts, had about, 43 catches for 700 and something yards, number 2 in Oklahoma when Hurts was there. Again, he got nice size and stature, but how do y'all feel as now it's another wide receiver possibly in the mix? You got the Wizard of Oz, you got Quez Watkins, and now you got Jalen Hurts, college buddy, all competing for 3-4 special team. How do you give me a take on Rambo if you would like to?
I think Rambo can excel. I think Rambo can excel. Rambo can actually play the slot too. Is what I'm not like a lot of people who didn't watch Oklahoma. They put him in the slot when CeeDee Lamb was, covering the outside, and that's where a lot of his yards came from. A lot of his yards came from that middle, a slant in the middle, or a slight deep post in the middle. He got a lot of yak off of that too. So a lot of people he's really underrated, and the teams that he went to, of course, he dealt with injuries. He's not. I think he may have lost a step. This dude was running a 4.5, 4.6 as a wide receiver. I mean, but he's got the hands. The kid got hands. And for his size, this dude's built like a fucking Mack truck. This guy he can break some tackles. It's hard for him to take him down for his size. So if you put him in there, I would say you put him in there, with the starting 2 wide receivers. He can make some noise. He's not bad with his route running either. To play the slot, you got to run that route, pretty smooth, and you got to have some type of shake. But he can make some noise with the big boys.
All right. I seen DLA Flo wanted to get in here real quick.
Yeah, I just feel like it's with Rambo, it's just familiarity with Hurts. Somebody that's a solid piece. To make competition for Watkins. I just think they're trying to put a fire under Watkins. That's just me. I think to just get him to the best of his ability because we still need that speedster to still always be in that slot to just make it easier for AJ and Devontae to get everything intermediately done. So I just feel like it's just at this point it's just a solid depth piece that just keep Watkins in line and just get the best out of him for this upcoming year.
Didn't we
So
I
do
like
the
it. I
same
like it.
thing with Nelson Aguilar? Like he's our Nelson Aguilar at this point. Like that's what I feel like
yeah,
Quez Watkins is.
true, most definitely.
Yeah, but I mean, Quez still does things over the top that Nelson, again, Quez is a top 8 fastest guy in the NFL. Like, he'll legit compete. I'm not going to swear he'll beat Tyreek Hill or anything like that, but best believe, he came in second to Henry Ruggs for a reason, and he does got speeds too. How you feel about old Charleston?
I'm a little different about it with everybody else. I actually think, and I'm gonna keep it real, y'all. Between Rambo and Joseph Nagata, I think either one of them can beat Quez Watkins out. I really believe that because, for one, Rambo's a better route runner. He's got better hands than Quez. That's just off top. That's just a fact.
Shit.
And to be honest with you, Nagata, I can see him as being. Just think, I'm gonna put it to you like, not a lot of y'all ain't old enough to remember this, but I'm gonna say most of y'all ain't. But Chris Carter, when he played for us, he left. When he went to Minnesota, Denny Green looked at him and said, "We're gonna make you the biggest slot receiver in the NFL." And that's where Chris Carter thrived at. He was the biggest slot receiver in the NFL for the longest time. Joseph Nagata, I see him in that very same vein. He could be one of the biggest slot receivers in the NFL. And I'm sorry, most slot receivers, most of them aren't even 6 feet tall. With him and his height and his catch radius, that's a mismatch against most slot receivers in the NFL. I think between him, Hazelwood, and Rambo, with their size, their wingspan, their catch radius, and their route running, I think they all could possibly beat Quez out.
I mean, look, you can't always go by someone's draft status. Like you said, you go by their draft status. Once they're drafted, once they're in the NFL, what they do, you throw the draft status out, you look at what they're being able to do. And these guys who have shown different things, I didn't get to watch my guy Gate City's video yet, but I know he called Ngata an Alshon Jeffrey clone-ish. I didn't get to watch and see exactly what he said. I just read by the title.
Yeah, he erases the mistake, like those little errant throws that might be a little off target. He's one of those guys like Alshon. He erases that because his body, with his hands, and if he's got a little bit of size on him where he can break a guy off and get a
What's
yak
his
off.
first name? Jeff Okada or whatever?
No, Joseph Nagata.
Nagata, okay.
Yeah, he played for Clemson.
Coach, let's get Coach up in here a little bit on what he's seen as it pertains to some of these guys. Let's not stop at Rambo. Let's talk about some of these undrafted guys, XFL guys that could possibly play a role in trying to get some wide receivers play over a guy like Quez, over a guy like the Wizard of Oz. You know what I mean? Let me know your thoughts on that.
I appreciate you bringing me in. I didn't speak as much because I don't know as much about the guys, but I'll talk more about who we got on the roster. I think 1 and 2 were locked in, like, for as long as they're here, which will be a long time. So we're talking about 3, 4, and maybe 5. So we're talking about Quez. We're talking about Covey if he wants to roll. I mean, obviously he's just on special teams, but he can catch. Allen had one really nice game. Devin Allen had one really nice game. So those are probably the positions that will be competed for more. I don't know enough about the guys, the XFL guys, the undrafted guys. I was looking for Rambo on my list. I did a big board for 2023 before I got hospitalized. Couldn't find him anywhere on there. So a lot of these guys I just don't have info on to really talk about. But I will say this. As much as I like Allen, as much as I like Covey, there are some spots there to be taken for sure. So I think that'll be really interesting to watch. I think that'll be exciting to watch for fans. So I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, real quick, shout out to my guy D-Dragon in the YouTube side with the $2 super chat. He said, I'm rooting for Rambo, but again, I have a Sooner bias side. So shout out to the Oklahoma Sooners. Donatello Dragon has been a fan of them. Big Hurt supporter from the get-go just because of his love of Oklahoma. And, hey, Rambo's definitely made it 90. That's the first step. There's a bigger step involved. And, again, I think Quez is loved by the organization, but he's going to have to put in the work. He's not going to get no favoritism. If somebody's beating him out, I think Nick Sirianni will play the better player. As you've seen, Kenny G take snaps from Miles Sanders. All clear, see that Miles Sanders was the guy, but Nick Sirianni's coaching staff really put the play first over some of the other stuff. So I do like that. It's going to be interesting. And I'm not going to sit up here and act like I know too much, except for what I read in the article today, because it's been a busy day, on Charleston Rambo. I do remember seeing him just by me paying attention to CeeDee Lamb so much, because I really wanted him in that draft. So I'm not going to cap and act like I ain't almost cry on the screen when Dallas took him. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I got the video up. You can go check it. So I noticed him, but I don't really know him. And so I will be doing my due diligence on these wide receivers, because they keep grabbing these low-key guys, maybe for that reason. I like LA Flow's reasoning, man. Light a fire under Quez. Listen, we've seen Quez catch NFL passes, big-time plays. We've seen him beat man-to-man coverage. We've seen him contested catch. Like a couple times, Jalen Hurts lobbed it up there. You know what I mean? And it was Quez go get it. So he's grown as a 6th-round player who definitely didn't have the whole route tree under his belt. He was definitely a speedster, go straight. And again, you got guys like A.J. Brown who can do it all. He's a do-it-all receiver. Over the shoulder, post routes, comebacks, but let's not act like the middle of the field ain't food for A.J. Brown. And so when you bring in other slot receivers who's going to eat up the middle of the field, that just takes one element away. And it makes it easier for the DB in front of A.J. Brown to say, man, I don't got to tackle Swole Batman in the open field today. You know what I mean? Because we got these guys running in the middle of the field. So it should be interesting. But again, the way we talking about it, how Stu put it in perspective, a lot of good players just means more fighting and more battles, and the better player will prevail. And so, I'm not saying I got to see more, but this could be one of the most intriguing training camp battles for not just 3 positions, not just 4 positions. It could be a lot of positions up for grabs or snaps taken away or given. Even that D tackle position. Like, again, I don't think it matter who starts. Carter, Fletch, Carter, Davis, Fletch, but these guys are going to be hungry for who got the most snaps. Not necessarily who was on the field right after the anthem, but who got the most snaps. And I do think it's going to be an epic battle all across the board. One more super chat from Donatello Dragon, another $2 banger. He said, for sure, best man for the job. Fly, Eagles, fly. Appreciate the love and support. I totally agree.
Shout out to whoever, this guy Anthony Kramer in your chat, for even thinking of this, saying keep Quez and keep Greg Ward and bring back Hightower. I don't know what kind of crack pipe you got, my boy, but you gotta put that one down, man. We do not.
Yeah, bro. You need whatever it is you smoking on. Please let me know so I know to stay the hell away from it.
Or give out your guy's number so we can all hit him up.
Like I'm gonna keep it a bean. I smoke some good loud, but whatever you got, bro, it got you on some other plane.
I mean, an opinion's an opinion, right? You never know if he's joking around or if he's serious. But again, he could be
I think he's trolling, though. I think he's trolling.
Yeah. I think he could be also talking about, listen, and let's not let, I always going to have some love for Greg Ward for the simple fact when we were at our most desperate times, he came in, ex-quarterback, and did some justice, so I'm always going to have love for him. But shout out to Eagles Uncut 2.0. I see him rocking the Philly dog shirt.
Yo, I didn't know, bro.
Yo,
that's hot. Represent. Hey, listen, a bunch of people been sending me their pictures. I got a little collage going. My man sent me. He and his wifey or his girlfriend was rocking. She had the pink one on. He had the black one on. It looks good. Yo, and listen,
I need one to for this hat, yo. Like I got my just plain black shirt. I need that Philly. I need that, Mike.
It's nice. It's nice. And look, as much as I like the oversized tees, the regular tees are just they legit. I'm just saying. Look. Still got more. Print champs tell me like, yo, take a couple videos off. You know what I mean? But y'all been showing love, and I appreciate it. So Eagles Uncut. We've been talking a little bit. Been on live for about 40
minutes.
Yeah, something like that. We talked a little bit about some news and rumors with Leonard Floyd. We talked about the wide receiver 3 position, just some of these XFL and young guys coming in. What's your take overall on some of the things you heard we said, or at least that wide receiver 3 position? Give me your take on that before we start talking about some other stuff.
Man, tell you the truth, man. I think we're good with Quez Walker, man. And on Oz as well. He did pretty good in the Falcons as well. So just overall, I think we're pretty good with wide receiver 3 and wide receiver 4. Tell you the truth, not just to mention that. Look, we have AJ Brown, we have Devontae Smith, we have Dallas Goedert, we have Swift that he can play that role as well. Because he can catch out of the backfield, man. So it's like just too much weapons,
Yeah, I like it.
And then now, let's put it this way. If you have too much mouth to feed, somebody's going to be unhappy eventually. You know what I'm saying? Especially throughout the game if the game is not going according as to our plan as well. You know what I'm saying?
Look, I love A.J. Brown to death, but we've heard some talk along the lines of, I need my touches, right? And so he's never been overboard with it. He's not no, Antonio Brown, no T.O. He's not going to, host a press conference, nothing like that. But he's been a little like, I need my stuff. And Devontae Smith, hearing him talk on Big Play Slay's podcast, talking about he was a little upset being snuffed for a Pro Bowl. You got two, dominant receivers who both were in the top 10, one top 5, one top 10, 9 and 4. They're going to want to continue and grow off that. You got a guy in Dallas Goedert who's looking to stay healthy this whole season and maybe crack the 1,000 mark for his first time. So as much as we want to say, hey, Oz, hey, this, whoever gets that third spot, be aware that you're going to get a handful of opportunities. That's it. If you get the good opportunity, just make sure you capitalize on it, because we do got dogs, not just Philly dogs, but, the dog word has been thrown around for Philly ever since we were the underdog. Then we were a dog mentality. Now we're Philly dogs, and it's just the toughness. And now we got a great group of do-it-all wide receivers and dogs and pass catchers. Because, like I said, today's game, some of the best tight ends can, look, we have Andrews had over 1,000 yards before. Zach Ertz over 1,000 yards. Kelsey is over 1,000 yards every year. So these do-it-all tight ends want the ball just as much, and we got to feed the backs. And Jalen Hurts going to get his. So, when you have a dominant offense like that, it's a pick your poison. Whatever the defense tries to shut down, you're just going to have to go with the flow. But I do like the patience of a guy like Devontae Smith, who's like, hey, we blocking. And he's not the biggest guy, but he's not afraid to do it. And although AJ spoke a little bit, he's not afraid of the games where we ran the ball for 28 times, as a group or blah, blah, blah. So I think we got a great bunch, and they're just trying to build off. They feel it as much as the fans, losing in the Super Bowl. That's the ultimate fuel for a team that is as hungry and well-balanced and led by one of the most mature players in the NFL, let alone mature 24-year-olds. I feel real confident.
I had no problem with when AJ was saying what he said. At first I did, because I thought it was going to turn into a T.O. moment. But I have no problem, because the maturity level that AJ Brown, gave you when he said it, if you actually took some time to sit back and think about what he said and how he said it, how he approached it, and then he reiterated in a different manner and a more mature level on top of that, like, I had no problem with it, because if you're looking at the games, it was really nobody that could really hold AJ. Like, I feel that's how I feel. I feel like really there's no cornerback when it came to Diggs. He was beating up Diggs. When you get physical with Diggs, he was getting physical with him. Diggs couldn't hang on. There was penalty after penalty with Diggs when the ball was thrown this way. If you go, you go to the even in the Kansas City game, their cornerbacks couldn't physically handle him. I mean, I feel like his physicality wears down the cornerbacks. I think when you put it in that perspective of how he was thinking, I was like, I had no problem with it. It wasn't. I never thought at one point it was going to turn into a T.O. moment.
No, here's what's funny. Is the moment we got him, I was sitting there thinking to myself, he gonna be out there beating up on people like he T.O.
On the field. He could beat T.O. on the field. He can
Like,
beat
yeah, if
T.O. on
you
the
really
field.
look at him, as a physical he's built just like T.O. was.
He's gonna be a Hall of Famer based on
Not
his
as fast.
stats
Not as
with
fast.
the Eagles.
Now, he's
Mark
not
my
as
words.
fast, but he's just as big and as physical and runs with just as hard as T.O. does.
Yeah. I mean, look,
Like T.O. Like when T.O.
shouldn't
had
have
the
been able
ball
to
in
run
his
that
hand.
fast. Yeah,
Yeah, T.O. had the ball in his
T.O.
hands. He ran angry. T.O. ran like he was mad at somebody.
He ran possessed.
He was. He was. He ain't like his
doesn't
draft
have to have the
status.
ball.
He ain't like a lot of stuff that happened. He ain't like getting kicked. Yo, he ain't like. He always felt the chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. He ran mad, angry every time he got the ball. It was like he switched from I got the ball to get in front of me and I'm hurting you.
I feel like there's a thing about AJ Brown. I'm from Mississippi originally. And the thing with AJ Brown has that Mississippi mentality that when you get out of a poor state like that, you have to make it. And that's when he talks, I feel that. Being from Mississippi, it's just, I don't know, it's a sense of pride and a sense of I have to do this. It's like this team is my family. I have to do this for my team. If I don't do it,
matter of fact, he from the same town. Yeah, ain't he from the same town in Mississippi where Mississippi State located at?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. As a matter of fact, he was supposed to go to. He was recruited to Alabama and I forgot which other
Alabama,
one,
Mississippi State, Ole Miss, and Tennessee tried to recruit him too.
Yeah, but he chose Ole Miss, and that's where but even with if you people in Mississippi that watched him as a Rebel and Ole Miss, they understand what I'm saying. Like people that are from Mississippi are gonna feel like they know. I feel like that right now. Like when I go to work, I feel like I gotta do this for my family. It's just that mentality because Mississippi is so poor as a state. When you finally make it out of that state and you finally start to prosper financially and feeling great about yourself in your life, it's that mentality. And I
same thing with people. Same thing with people from Alabama, man. And the people Alabama, Mississippi, places like Little Rock, Arkansas. When you make it out of those places, them people, they work so hard and they keep a chip on their shoulder. They keep going because they don't ever want to go back to that.
Yeah.
Let me.
Mike talked about it before on his when we first got AJ. I remember when Mike had it. When one of his first 2 to 3 videos, Mike talked about it, and I was like, "That's what we know. That's how we rock when we leave Mississippi. That's how we feel." So it comes with it. It comes with it, man. I love it.
Facts. So let's get some little hot takes going out real quick. We talked about DeAndre Swift on this panel before. We all love that move. Let's give a yardage prediction, right? It's again May. This is what we do at this time. There's the news ain't really all there. You see the guys out there, they're just starting to touch grass. You're getting excited. We see the young guys, but I see the YouTube chat talking about DeAndre Swift. So I just want to get just a little a beginner prediction. YouTube chat, play along with it. So if you're watching this live, drop your how many touchdowns, how many yards you predict only in May. It will change as it pertains to what you think when you start to see him in pads and preseason and hear some reports. But we'll start with Coach. Just get the estimate, yardage, touchdowns. Give me a little something as it pertains to DeAndre Swift.
Okay, so you gotta know this. Me going in, I think he's going to be healthy about 8 games this season. I don't think he's going to be healthy. I mean, 8's maybe a little, maybe a little small. Maybe it's more like 12 or 14 or whatever. He's not going to help you the whole season. Right.
Hey, listen, I mean, we gonna knock on fake wood for it. But like, I ain't mad to.
Right. I mean, that's just the number that came to me. So I'm thinking 6 touchdowns, 750 yards. Assuming he gets. Obviously, we want him for more than 8 games, but that was the first number that just popped in my head.
Hey, I ain't mad. Look again. We definitely hope, like you said, we hope he gets more than 8 games in Philadelphia. That Agent Zero needs to be seen double-digit times at least. But I would love him to be healthy again. Maybe he doesn't get the full bulk of the carries. Maybe that helps. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But hey, he said 8 games. Hopefully more. 6 touchdowns, 750, 7 something. I'll take that. Eagles uncut. What you got? Give me your DeAndre Swift prediction.
Are you saying overall, like receiving as well, or just rushing?
You could throw that in there if you want to. He's one of the best receiving backs in the game. That's going to be in there too. So I didn't say it before Coach went. But yeah, if you want to give me all of that, and then Coach can drop into some receiving.
All right, so I'll say in totality he's gonna have about 1,000 yards, and about 7 touchdowns. I'll say about 300 receiving, 700 rushing.
I ain't mad. Again, this is some early, you know what I mean? We don't even see the jersey fully on him yet. We just having a little fun here. Let's see what the chat says after we hear from Dev. Dev, what you got? What you got?
Yeah, man. 1,100 rushing. About 8 touchdowns. One of them is going to be receiving. A little hot route right there on the goal line. And then, yeah, like you said, like 300 Eagles uncut said at 300 receiving. That's my take on it.
All right. Real quick before we get anybody on the panel. Jung Money said 2,000 yards for Swift if he stays healthy. He's talking not all-purpose yards. He's talking it all 2K. Rimo said 1,200 yards with 8 touchdowns. I like it.
You better put some respect on Swift, man.
Witch King said 857 with 7 touchdowns because he's going to split carries with Penny. Yeah. So, and listen, again, it's all our opinion, all our guess. Right now we know that most likely he's RB1, but how much is RB1 going to get? We've seen in the past that other RB1s for the Eagles still share the rock, so we'll see. Eagles, as Landis said, 9 touchdowns, 1,000 yards, rushing, 500 yards receiving. Okay, I see y'all in the chat. I ain't mad at that. Unleash also said with that 2,000 yards from scrimmage, he gets 7 touchdowns. Now let's go over to my guy, D.L.A. Flow. Give me that Swift take.
I'm gonna be honest, straightforward. Ain't no way in the world he's gonna get anywhere close to what pretty much Miles Sanders and what he had. To be honest, we do running back by committee. So to be honest, I can see him getting about maybe like 10 to 12 carries maybe per game, getting about maybe 80 yards per game, roundabout up. So I would say probably about maybe 800 yards, rushing. Because you got to understand, our offensive line is not the choice offensive line. So a lot of stuff that will probably be getting hit by the linebackers and all the safeties and stuff like that, I don't think our O-line getting to the second level going to allow him to get hurt. I just don't feel that way. So, and of course he'll have a limited amount of touches as much as Rashad Penny will be. So he's not going to have the same production as Miles. All we need to do is just have him for the hot routes. And I think he'll have about the same balanced amount of receiving yards with the rushing yards. So I say
800 apiece.
I say 800 rushing and because for hot routes, he'll probably get about 300 to 400 in between that. So he'll get 1,200 total yards. It's not going to be all rushing. I just don't feel like he's
I'm going to save this, man. I'm going to screenshot. I'll keep all receipts.
Nah, it's all good. Like I said, it's all fun again.
He said 8 games. I want Swift to be here for 17 games.
He said 8 games,
man. I don't need him for 8 games. F that.
He heard Coach say 8 games, so DELA said now he only getting 8 touches a game. You know what I mean? I got to make sure that he's available in crunch time games. Now, look, again, things I say on my videos now, like I never try to just say something that I don't fully believe. Everything I say I believe, and I've been right a lot, and I've been wrong a lot. It's just if you talk every day about a sport, you're going to get some good ones and some bad ones. But, as it gets closer, that's when the bets come in. I gamble every day. I don't really talk about my gambling on here. A lot of people want me to say some bets and stuff like that. I do, but I make pretty good money. Let's just know I pay taxes on gambling for the last 3 years, so I definitely make a decent chunk of stuff. But it's hard to say, man. It's hard to tell. You don't really know his role, what it's going to be until you get, into the season, even a couple games. But it's always fun to do. Stu, give me that Swift take.
Come with it.
All right, so after doing a little dive real quick, most carries he's had in the season is 99 carries, and he got over 500 yards with that. Average that out, you know what I'm saying? Let's look at it behind this line. Like DLA Flo said, our line ain't gonna let him be letting them guys in the linebackers getting their hits on you. But there's something else that you said that didn't make sense to me. You said we do running back by committee. Didn't we just do that same thing with Miles Sanders and he had over 1,200 yards rushing and over 10 touchdowns?
Facts.
I think we can do that very same thing with DeAndre Swift. I think DeAndre Swift is just as talented, if not more talented, than Miles Sanders is. Therefore, if we can average that out, he stays healthy. I think, like I said, his highest carry total a season was 99 carries. Average running back carries is at least 200, 225. We can get him to at least that. He can get at least 1,400 yards and double-digit touchdowns. That's just, he stay healthy. We can run it the same way. Yeah, he can get that. And that's
now,
real.
I have a question for you though. Now, last year we didn't have Penny and Swift. You know what I'm saying? We had Gainwell and Miles. Now Penny's a lot better than Gainwell. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think he's gonna have the same amount of touches.
But Penny has more of a problem staying healthy than DeAndre Swift does.
That is true. But
right, let's keep that being DeAndre Swift has only missed 3 games each year, an average of 3 games each year. We can't say that about Rashad Penny. Rashad Penny damn near missed whole seasons.
He's the opposite. He only averaged 3 games per year.
A season, exactly. So I'm looking at it more on the side of Swift has the more potential to staying healthier than Penny does. Therefore, Swift should be most of the carries.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I like what you said there, and he was actually off to a really good season last year. You're going off them last year numbers, 99 carries, 500 plus yards. What was it, 5.3, 5.4 yards a carry? So he was doing work for the Lions prior to getting hurt, and it averages out. Again, if you are a RB1 and you're getting the ball, when you look at Zeke's big years, he's over 300 carries. You look at Derrick Henry's over 300 carries. We're not asking him to be that, especially with us sharing the backfield, and including Jalen Hurts with some little short yard stuff here and there.
And right there, that key point you just made right there, Mike, with Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, with that option right there, that opened so much space up for Miles last year. That's how Miles actually got off like that, because that holds at least 2 defenders on the backside, that edge rusher and that linebacker. So therefore, if you're doing that same thing with DeAndre Swift, who is actually a better running back and more talented than Miles, come on. That's not hard. It's not far-fetched to think that he can't do it.
Yeah, and listen, this is all just opinions. We about to get Kev the Great's opinion, and I'll throw mine out there. Again, the people who are just entering the chat now, do your boy a favor. Hit the like button. It's free. It's easy. Don't cost a damn thing. Also, click the link pinned to the top of the comment section. Sign up. Maybe next time we get up on here, you could come on the panel and give your player's take. You know what I mean? But drop in the comment section if you haven't talked about Swift. Receiving yards, rushing yards, touchdown. We just having fun. When we do the JJAANN Live, just barbershop talk after we talk for the first 10, 15 minutes. So, Kev the Great, let us know. Give us that Swift take.
Man, I wanted to go last, man, because I had to take.
I mean, you last, because you last besides me. So,
yeah. so y'all, some people are probably not gonna like what I'm about to say, but I agree with Stu. But I'll add something to it. Either the death flow chart. My take is a death flow chart, because we're forgetting about playoff Kenny. I think the Eagles understand that he's not a number 1 running back, but he is our number 2 running back. I sincerely think that, because not only can he can do a little bit less than what Swift can do. Swift can break tackles. Swift can honestly break some tackles, and now he averages
and run through.
He averages 3 tackles more a game, broken tackles, than what Sanders did. So he can break some tackles along with breaking ankles. Let's say that. But Penny is going to be 3rd on our depth chart. Penny is going to be one of those wear and tear guys, like wear the defense down at the end of the game type of deal, short yardage back, things of that nature. So for Swift's numbers, I think Swift. I'm going to say somewhere along the lines of, let's say, I'd say maybe 950, 900 rushing, about 350 passing, somewhere along the lines of 9 touchdowns. That's what I'm thinking. That's gonna fall. It's gonna fall in that in that category. And I think he's really gonna be probably, because I'm not concerned. I'm more excited for the defense than I am offense. And if that makes sense, because I know what the defense is I know what the offense is gonna do. I know what they're gonna do. We're gonna dominate teams exactly how we did last year. We're gonna take control of the time clock and wear teams down. And that gives our defense the chance to just pin their ears back and go.
Totally agree. The offense is definitely, we already know what it can do. 30 a game is what we've done a lot last year. Real quick, the chat says Xavier said Penny is too talented. Swift nice, but he'll average about 12 to 15 touches. A total of 1,100 yards for Swift, with Penny having around 700. So we got 1,900 from the duo, 1,100 for Swift, 7 for Penny. Eugene said Swift will get 800 yards and 8 touchdowns. Lonely B said regardless, Swift will be more efficient than Miles Sanders. Our running back group will be more efficient than Miles Sanders per touch. I'll take Swift and a field goal in the field. Swift in the field. So he likes just the potential of this back as a whole. So look, I'm gonna go and throw it out there. I think he's getting a stack. I think he can get a stack. Barring any injury. Coach is right. It is what it is. But I normally like to make my predictions barring any injury, because I like to not factor that in the sense if it happens, it happens. If it don't. If it does, it's like I'm taking out of my bet. It's washed, because other things play the factor. I do think little by little every year, and Jalen Hurts aired it out. At least as it pertains to A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith, both in the top 10 receiving. You look at the fact that he got hurt for a couple games, still almost had 4,000 yards. You see what he did on the ground, which was extra spicy, and he'll continue to do that. But I look to see Jalen Hurts every year throw the ball a little bit more, a little less running, still use them spectacular legs, paws, when you need to get out of harm's way. But look to throw the ball more, look to win from the pocket, look to do things traditionally with a little something on the side. And so I do think the pass is going to keep going up. I think we'll run the ball still, because our O-line is just that talented. I say just 1,000. I'm going to go 1,000 yards. I think he can get about a handful of touches. What do you have touchdowns in the 99 carries? Stu, off the top. Did you see? It was like 4?
7, right?
What?
How many touchdowns do you have last year in 99 carries?
4. Yeah, 4.
Yeah, so I like them 4. Again, I still think they're going to sneak Hurts in if we're that close. So we'll take a little bit of it that away. So I got him for 7 touchdowns on the season, 1,000 yards, 7 touchdowns. And I don't know how big of a factor Penny will be. Again, talent-wise, he was a first-round pick for a reason, 26 overall to the Seattle Seahawks. But again, he is the real mystery. And sometimes it all takes is a change of scenery, but he's the biggest mystery. And we'll see where Kenny G sticks his nose in. But I like all the takes, you know what I mean? I think we all understand that he's a talented back. He's got the offensive line from the Eagles. He got Jalen Hurts. He's got a lot of things that will make running back job a lot easier. So look forward to seeing what he could do. Let's get Smitty Eagle. I see him in the background real quick. Let's get Smitty Eagle in here and let me hear his Swift take real quick.
Hey,
Smitty,
Mike, when you
what's
get
up with
a
you?
chance, I got a question for the whole fan when you get a chance afterwards. Okay.
All right.
So where we going? Touchdowns and yards, right?
Give me it all.
Yeah.
TD, yards, receiving. Tell me how many times he wears green socks. I want to know everything. I'm just kidding.
I go with like 1150. About 350 receiving, but no. Probably like 950 with 350 receiving because Penny got to get some of the carries. I can't even trip. So probably like 1,300 all-purpose yards, 8 touchdowns.
I like it. And I didn't even say the receiving yards. I said 1,000 with 7 touchdowns, but I got him for 400 yards receiving too. I think he's going to be huge. And again, I don't think he's going to get volume, but with all these dogs running routes, you got Goddard, just getting extra attention. You got AJ running through the middle. I think Swift's going to be, 2 or 3 catches for a receiver, might 2 or 3 catches for a normal running back in a different system might be only 2-3 catches for 15 20 yards. These 2 or 3 catches might get him a 70 piece on the day because one of them might go for 45 50, a nice scamper when defensive backs have their back turned to him because they scared of Slim Reaper or Swole Batman or we got to get a nickname for Dallas Goddard, you know what I mean? One of these, you know what I mean? So it should be really interesting.
Here's my thing about it. Also, I think with the tough schedule that we have, a lot of people, we say we don't want to see our players injured. We have a lot of tough defenses that we're going to be going up against. So I mean, we do have some good backup players. Penny can come in and start if we need him to. With Kenny G, if we need Kenny G, or we have backups. Lord forbid anything goes down where Hurts has to be out for another 2 games. We got Mariota. Defensive side, defensive ends. We got defensive ends galore. Anybody can jump in and play right away. The only place that we don't have that much room is our safety. That kind of scares me.
Or linebackers.
It scares me. I feel we need someone. Justin Evans can jump in, of course. I'm just real scared in that because we're thin there. Offensive line, I think we're cool. I think we're good. Defensive line, we're good. It's just that small area. I think that's probably our second weakness compared to our special teams. Our special teams is just our weakness overall because of the coach.
That's the question I need. That's the question I have.
I think we can use an edge rusher too, man. Like a natural edge rusher, hand in the ground. We only got 3 right now. The third one ain't one you want to count on, which is Barnett.
Yeah, but I also like Milton Williams, fighting for them D tackle snaps and also lining up outside a little bit. So like one way to get Milton Williams, who I think we all like, more PT, is to say, okay, you're definitely going to play more inside because you're built for that, right? But with all this speed we have on the outside as it pertains to guys like Smith, Reddick, and even Sweat. You seen Sweaty, right? They were showing the young boys in that little clip. My man Sweat. Hey, Nolan Smith had him by a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. But now look, so I think you can, move Milton Williams a little outside too, which will get him more PT in this stacked defensive tackle room. I do think Katavius Street is a guy who I think I'll put Milton Williams ahead of, no doubt, but he played a nice amount of snaps for the Saints. He was a key rotation piece, not a once-in-a-while rotation piece. So I think Street plays too, and I think Street is more limited to just the inside. So I think the amount of D tackles we have for this year going forward, Fletch is going to leave, blah, 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 blah. But Milton Williams might get some more PT out there. So, again, Howie Roseman's never going to just say, we have too many pass rushers. The more the merrier. You can never have too many corners. You can never have too many pass rushers. That's what really makes – think about the best defenses in the game, right? It's them two. Yeah, linebacker plays important, safety too, but you get some good corners, you get some good pass rush. They go hand in hand, recipe for success.
Yeah, we got a Jomo. That him and Street, I think they can eat up the run when needed because Jomo he really does put pressure. Me being in Texas, I watch a lot of Longhorn football. I've seen him do some damage up the middle, especially against Oklahoma and Alabama. Those 2 games are huge when it came to stopping the run, and he was always in the middle when stopping the run. So if we need Morrow to go in and do his thing for the run game, he could be our Ndamukong Suh or Linval Joseph. You also got, like you said, Kadarius Street. He's good.
We got Marlon, that Marlon T. I cannot say his last name. Look, as much as I like, Yeah. As much as just stick with the initial.
Hold
Yeah,
on.
I mean the initial.
See,
Cool.
this will make me laugh when y'all do it because a lot of my homeboys is Samoan and stuff, so pronouncing it so easy to me. It's Chewy Pelochu.
I know you just said it. I can say it, but I know you. At the end of the day, look, I mean, he actually had a couple sacks, and he was a run stuffer too. He got hurt too around the same time Jordan Davis did. That's what made us go get Ndamukong Suh and Linval Joseph, not just Jordan Davis going down, but also Marlon T. That being said, you look at Fletcher Cox, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Milton Williams, Katavius Street, Jomo, Marlon T. Now you're going to 7. We're not going to keep 7 on the roster. So listen, Jomo, as much as we like him, and he had a bunch of hurries, he did this, that, and the third. Like, look, he not a lock to be on the roster, but he's a guy that if he don't make the roster, he was your 7th round pick. You stash him on a practice squad for sure. You do your damnedest to. But a Jomo, Marlon T, and Street, they all could be fighting. Again, we signed Street. Penny is on $1. He's a rotation piece, but he was a key rotation piece for the Saints. Our D-line better, deeper, we'll see. But man, the D-tackle room is loaded. And so everybody's favorite sleeper, Jomo, might just not be on the 53-man roster.
Yeah, there's so much.
It's a possibility.
I've never seen us have this much talent and be this deep in the D-line and O-line. I feel like this is. I feel like
we always got talent.
Howie is celebrating every night with a bottle of tequila. He's drinking himself to sleep. So happy that he's got so much talent because, again, like you said, we can put people on the practice squad, and if Lord forbid someone gets hurt, guess what? We hit that switch. Hey, you're next up in line, brother. I need you in this rotation. Let's get these sacks, or let's stop this run. I feel like we're so deep. I hate to see. I live here in Texas. I can't wait to see Cowboy fans cry every freaking night because our offensive line is being run to shreds. I can't wait. I'm gonna be. Look. I will celebrate. I'm gonna send y'all pictures every night of this, of every tear my family's had. This is gonna be beautiful. I can't wait. Can we start football tomorrow? I want this. I want this bad.
Facts. So Smitty, you said you had a question for the panel. It was something about special teams. You said,
that was me, Mike.
No, it's Flo.
D.
That was Flo.
Yeah, that was me. Yeah. So back when Kev was talking about our worries, our weaknesses, he said something about special teams. Now, I know we all about offense, defense, but let's be honest, there was a play in the Super Bowl that cost us some points. And I'm like, it got to my point. I'm like, I know we re-signed the coach. I think Michael Clay, whatever his name is. It's like okay, but do you feel like we should have put some draft capital into like a returner? Because for me, I like Covey, and he's solid as a catcher. He doesn't have no issues like calling for the fair catch. It's just I feel like everybody has a weapon, and I feel like we just don't have that right now. So that's just my only perspective. Like, how do y'all feel? Do y'all feel comfortable with that going into the season again with that iffiness with the special teams? That's the only thing. That's my worry.
Me personally, man, I'm not happy going into the season that way. But at the same time, why did we stop using Boston Scott in those positions? Because he was doing that before. That's my problem with it. Why we stop using him?
Well, the play that cost us in the Super Bowl, I think we got Legatron now, so that might not happen again.
Well, yeah,
the biggest one that was return.
Play in the Super Bowl, I feel differently about that. I'm not saying that didn't cost us, but I think the decision to punt right then was really what cost us.
Listen, Nick Sirianni was going for everything. Oh, he was Big Balls Nick for the whole season, and he shriveled up a little bit. Look, I'm just gonna say,
that's what I said. That's what I said. The decision to punt right then, that was what cost us.
If we don't get it though, Well, in hindsight, 2020, if us not getting it would have made them start further back because they were inside our 10 via the return from Tony.
Who watches the Kelsey's podcast?
I do.
Everybody should.
They call it, and it's basically because of Jason Kelsey. They call everybody the 92 percenters, and it's 92% of the time our quarterback sneak works. We were a yard and a half away from a first down.
It was 2 yards. It was 2 yards.
Or a yard and a half, 2 yards.
But Jalen on those sneaks normally gets about 2 to 3 yards on those sneaks.
3 to 4 yards. You don't think we can?
So
get
come on.
I mean,
that was converted right there. I'm sorry.
But at the end of the day, yes, we punted, and I still think our special teams coach let us down because of the coverage downfield. Not necessarily the punter. The punter did what he did, yes. But the coverage downfield, no one was in any lanes. Why? Because this special teams coach, I think he's a high school coach.
Nah, listen. I love Nakobe Dean, but he was one of the Eagles that got pulled out of his sneakers. Please.
This is where I say, hold on. This is where I go back to that, where I say, once you get to a certain position, you're not the guy on the battlefield. You just giving the orders. Once the soldiers gotta handle it, and if they don't take the orders right, they gonna mess up.
Yeah, let me just say this real quick. Nakobe Dean was great on special teams all year. And there is the excuse of the field for at least, change of direction, special team. Because, you're running down the field and you got to play a shifty receiver. All that being said, I went back, after the game, and I wanted to really I wanted to zoom in and see who the 3 special teamers were so I could make a video and scream at them. And then I low-key saw Nakobe was there, and I'm like, I'm just going to let it ride. I'm not going to start the offseason cursing out my new starting linebacker. You know what I mean? So,
But question, though, do y'all feel comfortable with Covey, man? Like, come on, let's be serious. Like, do we feel comfortable
Devin Allen. I've been screaming for Devin Allen. If we're not going to use Scott back there, I want Devin Allen. I think Devin Allen with his hands, he's got some shiftiness to him, and I hear Philly Mike, when he was discussing him about his shiftiness, I looked into it myself because I didn't know who Devin Allen was until Mike brought him up, and then Philly 500 started talking about him, and then
28-year-old rookie, 27-year-old rookie.
Yeah, so when you got somebody with that type of shifty, I'm cool with it. I would like somebody because what's his name that cooked us in the Super Bowl for that? He had his
Tony, and he coming from the he came from the Giants. He came from the Giants.
They got Turbin. He's always ready to flip the field on the other team. So I think
but sometimes Turpin be getting his head clocked. He be getting his clock cleaned though.
Yeah, and I love it.
I just see him get his clock. Like that's why I call Cubby crash test because he be getting clocked, yo.
It's no different than the crash dummy test you see on the commercials back in the day. We need somebody to just know that's their job.
I'm telling you, that's Britt Covey. That's why I call him crash test dummy. Because every time he's bow. All right, next time, bow. Do it again. Bow. I'm like, dude. You got
to credit his hands though. He didn't fumble the ball. But look, I would definitely real quick to D's point, and then I want to get Coach and I want to get Eagles Uncut too in here. To the point of investing draft capital, probably not, but there's been guys throughout the league like D'Anthony Thomas. When he played for D'Anthony Thomas he was from
Oregon. From Oregon.
Look at Turbin for Dallas. Like you just want them athletes. You just want them guys who can't run routes, who can't catch over the shoulder, but can catch a punt and bring it down. So I do think we should have looked to upgrade or bring somebody in. Like
bring back Josh Huff.
Yeah, Josh Huff, a bad receiver, but a guy who can get it done. I do think that you got to look at these, XFL guys, see what they have. I would even, again, like I said, you got to do it in practice first, make sure there's no shenanigans. But I would really love to try Quez. I think he had one or two that it hasn't really worked out, but he's a guy.
But Philly Mike, Didn't we just sign someone from the a wide receiver from an
That's Rambo though.
already?
Rambo ain't no returner.
No,
Say
he's
it
not a
again?
returner. He doesn't have the speed either. He's a 4.5, 4.6 runner.
Yeah, he ain't got the speed for it.
You know, when you got
Gotcha.
when you got Reddick and N'Kobe Dean running faster than him, that's a no-go for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, but to D's point, I think that's the route you go there. You just gotta look for that. But I think our punt coverage, our kick coverage has been decent, minus the Super Bowl. But
I like Legatron. Do y'all feel Legatron going to beat out Sipos this year? Do y'all feel it?
Sipos needs to be gone. I mean, I like him. I liked him prior to 2021. I think 2021 is when he started to show his ass and really shank. He had more shanks last year than he had his whole career with us. So I think his time is gone. If we get Legatron and Legatron lives up to the hype, I'm with it. I would.
I mean,
like
let's not act like Sipos didn't have a live up to name too. They were calling him Sipos the GOAT or Sipos the God, or you know what I mean. They were calling he had a name too. So Legatron's a big name. We'll see, and it's not always the boot. So sometimes you're at the 40-yard line. Now you need that precision kick to pin them inside the 10, make that drive. Start from their 6, from their 5, instead of the 20 to 25. Because then, look, you start the 25, a 10-yard pass, 20-yard pass, you're at midfield to where you're inside the 5, inside the 3, a 20-yard pass, you're starting at the 25, 30. It's a big difference flipping field position. You get that 3 and out when they're at the 28 is different from when you get that 3 and out inside their own 5, man. Teams be shaking in their boots and their cleats when they got to punt from the 5-yard line. You know what I mean?
Hey, is that true? I've seen in your comments someone put Legatron he can punt and kick field goals.
Yeah, he can.
Ain't nobody taking Jake. Jake, stop playing with Jake. Get him off the
Yeah. Hold on. Jake ain't going nowhere. We not taking Jake. Jake helped us win a Super Bowl.
Hey, my bad. Eagles landed. I didn't mean to put you out there like that.
Yeah,
look,
but again, for Eagle has landed, for the comment, you get in a jam where Jake Elliott pulls a hamstring or something, you got a punter / backup kicker. We don't got to put out Greg Ward to kick the ball or some crazy shit like that. You know what I mean?
Or Kaboom J. Hill.
As long as Christian McCaffrey sitting there being quarterback, we good.
Oh, man, I can't wait for that game, bro. Mike?
Like, hold on. I wanted to talk about that too because Shanahan pissed me off with that.
Yeah, Shanahan's in the fire.
Shanahan pissed me off. First, Debo saying, we only played with 10 guys. I'm sorry. Did Brock Purdy miss the flight to the game? I'm sorry. I recall Brock Purdy being on the field. So, no, you didn't play with 10 players. Just the quarterbacks that you had, they got knocked out the game, so you ain't had nobody else. Maybe you should tell the coach / caller not to black one of the best pass rushers in the league with a backup tight end. And then on top of that, Shanahan gonna come out of his mouth saying, "Well, I'd like to go and be able to have a chance to go in there and actually have the whole team." Fool, you had everybody on the squad. You just protected the quarterback with a backup tight end and got him killed.
Can we get a clip of this, folks? This needs to be in a short. This needs to be reran and reran. I need this on replay. I want to put this for all my Niner fans on my Facebook. This needs to be said by somebody else but me. I've said this repeatedly.
I'm trying to figure out. We only played with 10 guys. What did Brock Purdy forget what time the flight left for y'all to come to Philadelphia? He just didn't come to the game?
He didn't have COVID.
Come on, man. I'm talking about y'all played with 10 guys. No, y'all came out on the field with 11. One got knocked out. His replacement came in. He got knocked out. And then the first guy had to come back in, but he was ineffective. Guess what? He was drafted as the last player in the draft. They call him Mr. Irrelevant. Well, guess what? The Philadelphia Eagles made that statement true because in that game, he was irrelevant.
Are we at church? With my boy preaching?
and yeah, lovely stuff right there. I'm not even taking the Niner fans serious no more until we get there. And unfortunately, we don't play them until week 13. We are over an hour. And again, with it being a Tuesday and late, we're going to be getting off here shortly. Here's the thing, though, for everybody on the panel, so y'all know, too, and for everybody in the chat, anybody who signed up for the JAANN app. So for next time, I've been the most inconsistent JAANN streamer on Jam. I've been like, all right, we do Monday here, we do a Wednesday here, we get a Thursday here. But I promise, from here on out, it's every Sunday at 7 p.m. That's where we're going to do it. Replace Football Sunday with a 7 p.m., little earlier, 7 p.m. JAANN live stream every Sunday until the season starts, and then we will switch if we keep going with it and all that. So for the people who like to come on and share their thoughts on the panel, for the people who come in the chat, that's when the JAANN stream is going to be. During the week, we'll have the regular Philly Mike streams or videos like we normally do. But the JAANN stream will be on Sunday at 7. Now, I'm not going to go over the schedule, but before we get out of here, everybody looked at the schedule already, right? We don't got to go over certain games, nothing. I just want to know everybody's first look, first thought as it pertains to what the record might look like. And again, this is before training camp, before extra additions, all that. We know that. We understand all that. Early look schedule release. Give me your predictions. We'll start with my guy, Coach.
I'm going to say 12-5. It's
like
a difficult schedule, but we still have one of the best rosters in the league, certainly the best GM. And our offense is going to be fine. Our defense is reloaded. We'll see about linebacker and safety and all that. We'll see about special teams. By the way, I wanted us to get Braxton Berrios back in 2021. We didn't. We need that explosive guy because Covey ain't it. Allen might be. Scott, I don't know. But, yeah, I'm thinking 12-5.
Now, let me ask you real quick on that 12-5. Do you think that that 12-5 competes for first place in the NFC? Or do you think it won't? Or you think there's going to be a team that has more than 12?
So I'm going to take your word literally. I would say competes. I think it's going to be Philly and Dallas for the first seed. If I trust history, Dallas is going to win the division because there haven't been consecutive division winners in the NFC East since the 1970s. I'm kidding, right? But it's been a bit. So
no, we were the last one to do it in the early 2000s. I think it was 2004.
2003, 2004.
So if anybody gonna break it, it's gonna be Philly. But I hear your reasoning. That's all.
Yeah. You asked about records, and I mean, I think competes is a good word. I think Philly and Dallas will be super competitive. I think Washington will be a little bit better. I think the Giants will be a little bit better. That's not to say that either are any good, but they're not going to suck, right? And we have the harder schedule, and Dallas has a decently hard schedule. Really, the NFC East has a harder schedule. Last year was relatively easy. You know, the NFC South, the AFC South, whatever, all that crap. So it'll be. I think 12 is a good.
Hey, it's a great early base. Again, we'll see what teams really look like. You could say, oh, I thought this team was good by week 3. Now this team is better. This team is this. So a lot of things change. But 12-5, first one, I like it. Eagles Uncut 2.0. Let me hear your schedule and a little reasoning behind it. Like I said, we're not going to go into all the games, this, that, and the third. But give me a little take before we get up out of here.
Man, I think we're definitely gonna go 13-5. 13-4, and I have a losing against the Jets. I think we're gonna split with the Cowboys because most of the years we do split against them. I think we're also gonna be losing against the Giants, which is gonna be the last game, which we're just gonna be pretty much playing with with our backups because we're already gonna claim the division. And the fourth game, I think we're gonna be losing against I forgot the other team that I predicted as well. But overall, I think we're going to be 13-4, I mean, we're like Coach said, man, we're going to be playing harder team. We're going to be playing 49ers. We're going to be playing the Chiefs, the Bills. But most of those teams, that's the fourth team that I think we're going to lose against, going to be against the Chiefs as well. But then we're going to go to Super Bowl and get our revenge. You already know.
I like the rematch call. That would be beautiful. Make a lot of NFL team ads. The Chiefs will be let the Chiefs be the superstars in the AFC for the next couple years. Let us be the superstars in the NFC, and we can go battle to battle, year by year, blah 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 blah. Smitty Eagle.
Man, I'm gonna go crazy, bro. I ain't gonna even lie to y'all. I like 15-2.
Sheesh.
Talk your shit.
But everybody talking about this harder schedule, bro. I ain't seen nobody harder on the schedule yet. Like, they all NFL football teams that we gotta play. We got better. Hopefully they got better. But honestly though, not the hot take though, probably 14-3 again.
All right, 14-3. I like it. Let me just ask you this. For the in-betweens, like I said, we're not going to get into each game and like that. So you said 14-3. Are we going to sweep Dallas this year? Is this the year?
Yeah, I like Dallas to get swept.
Okay. Just got to ask.
Honestly, not true, bro. I think Washington got a better chance of beating us again than Dallas split with us again.
Hey, I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that at all.
When losing to Sam Howell, man.
We gonna punish Hal for sure. I'm gonna love that every second, especially how Washington fans be calling him like I don't even know how.
Uncle
have
Sam,
fun with that.
That's his name, Uncle Sam.
Uncle Sam. Sheesh. DELA Flow. Let me get that schedule prediction real quick.
Yeah, I wish it could be 15-2, like my man said, but I'm gonna be a realist. I'm gonna say 12-5. Okay. I'm really looking at the Dolphins game because just the speedsters on the outside. I just feel like we a little older at corners, so that'd probably be a mismatch kind of bit. Not to say that we don't have top-notch corners. It's just eventually you running at these guys all day long and I think Bradbury and Slade, they had the podcast. They was talking about how
it. Yeah. That's the matchup Slade's looking at.
Well, I can't keep doing this the whole game. So I feel like that's going to kind of like wear him down because of the age and stuff. So I'd say the Dolphins. I would say probably. I know Slade locked down Justin Jefferson. I just got a feeling they may have a revenge game right there. So I'll say that's 7-2 on the first half. So, and then on the second half, I'm looking at maybe the Seahawks. Like, they always had our number. So I'm always looking at them, always having our number for some reason. That's just how Pete Carroll works against us. And then I see us going back and beating the Chiefs, get that revenge. But I feel like it's going to be a costly one. And then we go next week, the Bills probably catch us too. And then probably the Giants for some irrelevant reason. I don't know why. But Cowboys... But the Cowboys, we definitely going to sweep, nonetheless.
Oh, listen, 12-5 record. So again, I'm going to ask you what the.
So you say
the Cowboys know they play? That's all I care about.
He said we lost to the Chiefs, the Bills, the Dolphins, the Seahawks, and who else?
No, I said we lose to Vikings, Vikings, Dolphins, Bills, Seahawks, and then Giants maybe.
You lost me at Vikings.
Listen, some good teams.
The Cowboys, we got to be disrespectful with the Cowboys. We cannot let them get no footing in this division. We want them to take a step down. I'd rather have the Giants up and have the Cowboys come a step down and be in third place, and the Giants come in second place. That's just me.
Listen,
hold on. I took the Dolphins game as a win because we got them early. They still got to get it together. They don't have a good team, but they got to get it rolling.
Their defense is very suspect. Like, they lost some people. So their defense is
they still got a good defense.
No, they got a good defense. They got a good secondary. They got to stay up.
I don't think they got but look at the Baltimore game and the Miami game. Baltimore was whooping their butts the whole first half. And you see how fast that thing can dwindle down. So
let me just say this on Flo's to Flo's point. At the end of the day, like the Super Bowl champion Super Bowl champion Chiefs lost to the Colts last year. So listen, the best teams, no matter what, like I always look for that one team that we are 100% better than, but we slip up and lose to. So there's always going to be that team. Think about all the great teams that played last year. We lost to the Washington Commanders, right? The Chiefs lost to the Colts. Cincinnati lost to the Cowboys with out Dak Prescott, right? So like you had the great teams. Had the Niners got beat by who? The Niners got beat by the Raiders. You see what I'm saying? So every team that was in the NFC or AFC championship lost to a team that didn't make the playoffs, that is picking in the top 10. It happens, so you never know. I'm not trying to lose to multiple teams like that, but you never know for sure.
Just as long as we handle the Cowboys.
Yeah, but my question though to your 12-5 is: do you think it's competing for the top record in the NFC? Because I think there's a lot of iffiness in the NFC, but you're saying 12-5, and we.
In the best hope, we will want 13-4. Maybe one of the games I'm talking about, we get that extra win. But it's really just I just look at the people I look at as a threat is either going to be 49ers figuring out their quarterback situation, the Cowboys figuring out their chemistry and getting things on one accord on the offensive side, and just Seattle. Because Seattle's literally them draft picks are looking good over there. So those are the three teams we got to worry about. Outside of that, we ain't got to worry about nobody, not even the Vikings. I just think I just think Jefferson want to get back at Slade. And it's the same game, the same time from last year.
You don't think they're going to compete with us in the overall schedule, but they might get us.
Who their quarterback is on the Vikings?
Kirk Cousins is going to be Kirk Cousins. Trash.
I was about to say, did you forget that there's Kirk Cousins as their quarterback?
Hey. It is what it is. All right, we gonna go.
That might be the 13-4 right there, because guess what? It's a Thursday night game, and he don't like prime time as it is, right?
There you go. Prime time, Kirk
Get up for a touchdown.
That's why I just said you lost me when you said the Vikings. I was like, what? We losing to the Vikings at the home opener when we dropping the conference banner? No.
All right, Stu, let me hear it though. Let me hear your score prediction.
I got it 14-3, man. And the 3 losses I got us taking. I think the Jets might catch us slipping because they got a defense, and with Aaron Rodgers and those.
That's my first predicted loss. When I did my schedule release, I was running them off. Jets, bang, 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 bang. The Jets.
I think the Jets might get us. I think we dropped that last game to the Giants because we'd already locked up the 1 seed. And to be honest with you, I don't. In Arrowhead for the Chiefs. Yeah, that's tough.
We got to get them back for the Super Bowl once, though.
That's like other people. There's just as loud in Arrowhead as it is people coming to the link. So that's going to be a tough one too. You know what I mean? So I say that those two. And that last one with the Giants where we just give it away because we got the number 1 seed locked up. And yes, we sweeping the Cowboys and the Commanders. We only giving the Giants that last game because we don't give a damn.
Can you play your flowers? Can we play We Love the Flower Girls for Stu for that?
I don't have it on this thing.
That was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful, my guy. And you put on a great show today.
Go ahead, Kev. You're up next.
I can't outdo Stu. That was 14-3. If I'm going 14-3, we're sweeping. I'm not worried about Dallas at all. One, they don't have Zeke. Zeke was literally the only person that literally scared me. Like before him, it was their tight end Jason Witten, because the dude always seemed to be open. I hated him. With a
slow as a snail.
But catches the damn everything. Like I hate him. But they don't have Zeke either. They got their running back who's starting off with an injury, so I'm not worried about him. I'm not worried about them at all. I'm more worried about the Giants, because the Giants have really flipped the coin on us. Like, they're trying to compete with us now. They're not trying to compete with Dallas. They're trying to compete with us, the big dogs.
They have Daniel Jones.
They do. He's Kirk Cousins 2.0.
Somebody got to take second place, bro.
That's exactly. He's Kirk Cousins 2.0. But I think they're going to be competing with Dallas for second place in division. They are going to make playoffs over Dallas. I think we win division. As far as everything else, I got the same losses as Stu has. The Chiefs, I don't like it. I hate that game. That game, it spits out. They're going to try to bring out the worst in us. And the way that Andy Reid coaches, he figures teams to how to do that, and I hate it. And I hate that I predict. I have a vision in my head. Someone's gonna get hurt. I hate it. I really fucking hate it. I hate it. Yes, I get it, Stu. I pulled the coach. But
don't you put that out there.
I'm sorry.
Wait, who'd you say was gonna get hurt?
I didn't say nobody.
He said somebody gonna get hurt.
As long as it's not QB1, I don't care who it is.
Because, and here's my thing. Here's the reasoning behind it is because they're gonna want to play their best. They're gonna want to play their best against the Chiefs. And you know when you get that that type of thing going, things happen. I think it's gonna happen on both sides of the ball for both teams. But it's gonna be one of those battles. It's gonna be one of the most anticipated games to watch throughout the season. It's probably gonna be the game of the year. We're gonna get a rematch against them in the Super Bowl, but that's my take on that. And we win this time because I think I really think our defense literally lives up because we have a coach that knows what the fuck he's doing. We have a defense to actually match our offense. I mean, come on. You can't get better than this. I mean, what well, yeah, you can. You can get a better special teams coach, but we know all that. But I'm mad we
got rid of. Hey, can somebody explain to me why we got rid of our old special teams coach Dave Phipps?
I think he got a better job as a coordinator.
Isn't that?
That's right. When we was playing, when we were doing the Owen and Doug Peterson area on special.
Yeah, he went with him. I think he went with him. But 14-3, same exact what Stu says. I think we may lose to the Giants, unfortunately, because we're going to be clinching at that point. And again, it's going to be out of the Giants and Dallas who clinches at that point. For the second spot. And Detroit Lions are going to be the team to watch out for. I am scared to play them in the playoffs. I hope we don't. I really hope we don't because they have a defense.
I do because I want to shut up C.J. Gardner-Johnson. Just do it. Do it to him.
They are rough. Somebody smacks him up. But
I'm scared of the Detroit Lions. They have Jared Goff.
Their coach.
Jared Goff played some ball last year. Check him out.
Exactly,
Golf
but at the same
nice.
time, they have a coach to actually bring that. Their coach makes them play at a really intense. I love the way their coach has them playing. Really,
Jared Goff under pressure he folds under pressure. Jared Goff under pressure.
They have a run game also.
You might as well look if Jared Goff is out there under pressure. You might as well put Josh Rosen under center.
They got a run game too.
Don't disrespect them like that. My man came back in the club. Don't disrespect them like that. Look. You got to respect the fact that he went to a Super Bowl, right? Mm-hmm. And then got dismissed from his team. Looked to be like he was not as good as like it was McVay or bust with him. You know what I mean? With the run game and Todd Gurley, But I'm not gonna lie. Him and them receivers were doing it up. They had one of the top offenses all year. Their defense, they lost like 5 games. Or they lost like 4 or 5 games where their defense allowed over 40. So you know what I mean? Look, if our defense was allowing 40, we would have lost some games too this year. So the Lions looked to bounce back a little bit better. I think Goff's going to be okay, but they still, I got to see it to believe it because the Lions have been, there's just something, there's that cloud over the Lions. So we're going to see how things translate. You know what I mean? But I do want to give Goff his props.
They won 8 of their last 10 games.
Who you taking, Jared Goff or Carson Wentz?
Goff.
Speaking of, did y'all hear
number 1 and 2? 1 and 2.
Did y'all hear that Did y'all hear that Wentz may go
which
to
one am I taking?
The Lions? Did y'all hear that Wentz is one of the teams that's been in contact with Wentz is the Lions and there's someone else. It's a rumor, but it's from a really good source. I wanted to send it to Philly on Instagram because I don't have him.
Hey! I want Carson Wentz to go to Arizona with Gannon and just mess it up over there.
That would be 2 birds, 1 stone. Let's do it. All right, so here's my score prediction. Gonna be quick. I got us winning about 13 games, so I got it like 13-4. I said that the floor to me is around 12 games. Close to this season, but I have it 13 wins. I do think we're going to beat the Chiefs for some reason. I did have us losing to the Jets for the first time in franchise history. I do have us coming off that Chiefs win and getting beat by the Bills. I have us splitting with the Cowboys as of now. Again, all that
man,
changes as we get
Mike,
closer to the
put the crown
season.
royal down. Put the crown royal down, Mike. Ooh, you put the crown royal down right now. Oh,
Again, look, I have a split with the Cowboys. We win at home, they win at home as well. So that's just my take right now. Again, as we get closer, if I see Dallas, hey, look, we're better than Dallas. Look, losing to a division opponent doesn't mean you're the weaker team. You know what I mean? I think we're gonna have a better record. I think that Dallas and San Fran and Seattle, and depending on how healthy the Rams can stay, you know, they're all gonna be competitors. I want to look at the Lions. The Packers still got a gritty defense, depending on Jordan Love. The Bears did some interesting things. See how Justin Fields plays. You know, Minnesota. You know, Kirk Cousins is going to throw for a lot of yards, but he's still Kirk Cousins. So it's going to be interesting to see the NFC landscape. I still have us as the best team. The Niners, I think I said them already, but I have us as the best team. But I do right now, we're talking about May. I have us splitting with the Cowboys. Trust me, there's nothing in the world that I would love to do more than to just sweep them and just, you know what I mean? Because, again, you know, I go back and forth with Cowboy guys on Twitter. We do, you know, NFC East roundtable at least 3-4 times a year, and it'd be lovely, lovely. But right now in May, I'm going to give, again, I think we always going to lose a game to a team that we should beat. And as of now, that's my team, the Cowboys. You know what I mean? I don't got us losing to no crazy team, minus the Jets. I think they got a squad over there. I think it might be about time. But I would love, my brother's a Jet fan. I would love to keep that they never beat us in franchise history thing over my little brother. Again, I'm 32, he's 29.
Hey,
he never see the Eagles lose to the Jets. You know what I mean? So we trying to keep that.
Eagles, make him wear Eagles jersey.
Yeah. No matter what my brother says.
Green, man. It's still green. It's just the right green.
Listen, at the end of the day, when the
as long as he ain't a Cowboys fan.
Huh?
As long as he ain't a Cowboys fan, he all right.
Yeah, and he's over in the AFC. But like I said, look, best believe all our runs all over the last couple of years, he low-key always pays attention to what's going on to the Eagles and blah, 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 all that good stuff. With that being said, it's 10:22. I got to be up at 4 in the morning. Shout out to everybody who came through on the YouTube side. Shout out to everybody who came through on the live JJAANN side. Again, if you want to be on a panel next time, talking like one of the fellas, or sometimes we have Cool C. She didn't come through today, but some of the ladies, it doesn't matter. All you got to do is click the link pinned to the comment section, download the dang app, search Philly Mike, and come through Sunday, 7 p.m. Hey, Eagles 2.0, show them the shirt. Show them the shirt.
You already know.
Let's go. Philly dogs run faster. Appreciate everybody who's copped the merch. And until next time, y'all know what time it is.
We out.
We out. Peace.